This is why coaches fight and sometimes even hate the booster clubs. It's because they need to relinquish all booster club to a booster club person. I actually got in trouble for this in Texas years ago. And I'm not doing a booster club because it's just going to be me and the same 3 or 4 parents and the same 2 wrestlers. Everyone else is going to disappear, but everybody wants to enjoy the bank account. That's exactly what happened. That was the first year. Second year, principal pulls me in. You got to have a booster club. I'm like, okay, I'll try it 1 year, but if I'm right, then I'm not doing it. I was right, of course, because it's just the way it is. And so I didn't do a booster club the next year. Now, Texas is crazy, man. There's a lot, big money down there. 1998 to 1999. I left in 99. So in 98, 99, my wrestling budget was $15,000. $7,500 for boys, $7,500 for girls. So we didn't need a booster club. You get $7,500. That's a quarter of a century ago almost, right? It's a long time. 24 years ago. So, but I don't care if we had money or not. I don't care if there was zero budget. I have to focus on coaching. I had to coach 2 sports. I ran wrestling in the off season. I had 2 young kids that I didn't get to see a lot. I was gone all the time with track. I helped with cross country just to be nice, not all the time, but and I had to actually be a teacher and grade papers and do all of the special ed stuff, which nowadays is like off the charts. I don't know how teachers actually get a chance to do their job. So I just said, no, it's not happening. After, you know, the 3rd year. So you need to say, who wants to have a booster club? A couple people take charge, say, okay, thank you guys. I will, you know, we'll communicate once every 2 to 4 weeks. And if we have any needs, we will let you know. If you can provide those, great. If not, we'll make it work anyway. My kids are going to be tremendous on bottom, tremendous on top, skilled and dangerous, and I'm going to run the program like a CEO. My youth coach, there will be 1 of them. There's not going to be 13 dads in charge. 1 guy in charge, 2 dads on the mat, everybody else sit on the wall and be quiet or wait in the car. We're not going to have a buffet style coaching. It's not happening. We're going to have a system in place. We'll have 1 coach in charge of JV and freshmen, 1 coach in charge of varsity. That's me. I'm in charge of you 2 guys too. I'm the head chief. I'm the main guy. And you guys are just a step below me. You guys are vice president. You share that title. And we're all going to be 90% on the same page from a technique standpoint. It's never going to be 100, but you can't have 1 coach only teaching everybody to collar tie the head and wrestle ear to ear, and the other coach is like, no, we need forehead to forehead. We need to keep our attack arm free. And I mentioned that because I just had some conversations with a guy who wonders why we don't just wrestle ear to ear all the time, which is what their coach is wanting to do, which I think is a mistake. But so you can't have that. You can't have 1 coach saying, no, we're going to be rushing 2-on-1, or we're going to try to wrestle like Terry Brands did back in the 90s. No. And then this guy's like, oh no, we're going to be a scrambler because we liked watching the scrambling guys back in the 2000s. And this guy's like, we're worried about conditioning. We're going to run 45 minutes a day. We're going to be the best conditioned team in America. We don't care much about technique. We're just going to lift weights and get strong, do a little bit of wrestling. Then the other coach says, we only need 10 minutes of live a week. I know high school kids right now they only get 10 to 15 minutes of live wrestling in practice. You should be getting an hour of live wrestling. You should have 2.5-hour practices, and you should be getting an hour of live wrestling. That's it. Maybe 10 minutes of stance and motion at the end. Not right before a tournament. Why trash your legs before a dual meet? But you get my point. And it should be, right? So, Booster Club, get the job done. My 2 head coaches will meet in the beginning of the season a couple times. Get the job done. Don't call me with decision making. Get the job done. Bank account's empty. Go fill it up. I'm worried about coaching, wrestling. I gotta coach, 500 hours a month in football. I don't want to get a divorce, and I would actually like to see my kids. And I make $2.37 an hour, so I'm not in it to get rich, but I'm spread pretty thin. So fill up the bank account when you have some money. You guys and me and my 2 head coaches will meet, and we will decide the prioritizing of our needs. We'll get the job done, and we'll move forward. And that's how you do it. Too often people want to be in charge of a booster club, but they don't actually want to be in charge. They want somebody else to do everything. Oh, and also this, how about this? Your varsity coach is not going to go to every Pee-wee tournament. Oh, I thought my varsity coach would be more involved in the youth wrestling. No. The varsity coach should go to 1 youth practice a year, maybe 2. He should be there maybe twice. Maybe the second week of season, and then the week before districts, not running practice, just chatting with the guys for 10 minutes and helping and meeting parents. That's it. That's it. It's not his job to be there. You youth guys, get the job done. Freshman JV coach, get the job done. And that's how you do it, because it's got to be ran like a business. If you can't fill the bank account, boom, gone. If you can't get the job done, if you don't want to listen to the system in place, now you head coaches, you can't say, this is how we're going to do it. This is how I've always done it. And be like, you've always got your ass beat. So let's not have such a big ego, right? You've got to have a history of winning under your belt before you can start, saying this is how we're going to do it. So you got to invite and ask questions. I'm in touch with my coach. We're just in touch this morning. Hey, how about summer camp? What about like our point system for cabins? What about our, sometimes kids don't, they don't always make it at camp, but they don't go home. They don't call their parents and say, I quit, I give up, I don't want to be here. Sometimes they have injuries, and, if they say they're injured, they're injured. I'll call a life flight helicopter. I don't care. I never say I think you're faking it. I do not do that. If you're hurt, you're hurt. If you have a concussion, you have a concussion. Boom. We're going to the doctor, and we're calling your parents. They got to come get you. If you say your arm's broke, your arm's broke. If you say you can't wrestle, you can't wrestle. Right? But I do know that sometimes, just like some of us called in sick for work, you guys have all done it. I did that a few times when I was a teacher. And I put like professional visitation evaluation. I just use that as like number 4. I click number 4. That was for like if you have to go see a psychiatrist because you think you're going crazy or something. So Connie, she was my buddy. She pulled me aside. She's like, hey, you know what? You keep it. So anyway, because you have to miss sometimes. Sometimes But I was like my kids. My son was sick, and my wife had to go to her teaching job. So sometimes life gets in the way. So I thought it was like professional stuff, but anyway. So we've all called in sick. So we have wrestlers who do that sometimes, and we're coming up with, okay, we need to, how we're going to communicate with parents, and who's late to practice. All of these things that we've dealt with, and we've really ran a well-oiled machine. But now that we got a 3rd wrestling room, we've really made the camps a very small group. We got 3 small groups. We're worried about the line in the shower. We're really trying to like tune up their race engine. Like the NASCAR, this NASCAR race has won millions of dollars and trophies, and this is the NASCAR that everyone loves. And okay, we can tune that up a little bit more and get better. So I'm in touch with my coaches just this morning about that side of it. Are we going to have assigned beds within the bunkhouse? We've decided we are, so that it makes take and roll easier. Someone has, hey, have my son call me, or we're shipping him a bottle of shampoo. Guess what? I can go find his bed, put a note, call mom, here's your shampoo, right? So I'm in touch with my coaches all the time, and they make decisions. So you can't have such a big ego and be like drinking your own Kool-Aid like you're special. And so a head coach, I'm not saying that, but I am saying you had to say, boom, this is how it is. And I think when you set the sort of tone in a nice way, then it's done. Then when the booster club says, no, we want to buy knee pads and headgear for all the kids, and the coach is like, we don't have any weights in the weight room. Moms and dads can buy their own knee pads. And they go, moms and dads don't have any money. And I'm like, and they're like, well, there's plenty of money for cigarettes and beer and alcohol and lottery tickets and these big so-called national tournaments. No, they're gonna buy their own knee pads or headgear. Kids are gonna lose them anyway. We need heavy dumbbells. So sometimes you gotta make a decision and how to spend all that money. But first, they gotta do the job. So booster club, coaches, that's how I would do it. And that's how I did it my last year as a high school coach, after just being a freaking complete joke of a coach. And it really worked out well. And that's kind of how we do things right now from an academy level. We don't really have fundraisers and that kind of stuff. But we do sort of, designate responsibilities, delegate tasks, and we'll have 24 practices a week. We have 480 wrestlers training with us every week right now, and I run one practice a week, and my other coaches are doing a great job. And so, start running your team like you're the CEO and the president, and everyone else is, working together to come up to the final decision. Boom, do the job. I'll see you later. And everyone's life is going to be easier. Good luck.